Peter walking on water through the storm. Welcome to calm, peaceful moments. Tonight, allow your breathing to slow. Allow the noise of the day to drift away. Allow your thoughts to settle like rain upon quiet water. And as you rest, we enter one of the most powerful nights ever told. A night of wind, a night of fear, a night of waves rising like mountains, and a night where peace came walking through the storm. Imagine the freezing spray of midnight, rain touching your face, the smell of wet wood, the groaning of a fishing boat under pressure, the cries of tired fishermen battling the dark sea. No stars above, no shore in sight, only thunder, only wind, only uncertainty. The disciples rowed with all their strength. Their hands burned, their backs ached, their eyes strained through sheets of rain. Every wave seemed stronger than the last. Every moment felt longer than the one before. Peter gripped the edge of the boat. Water rushed across the floorboards. His heart pounded hard against his chest. He had known storms before. He had lived beside the sea. He had worked these waters. But tonight felt different. Tonight the storm felt endless. Tonight the darkness felt heavier. Tonight fear whispered louder than reason. And perhaps you know that feeling too, when life becomes rough without warning, when your plans begin to shake, when the future disappears into fog, when prayers seem delayed, when strength feels small. The disciples shouted above the wind, "Hold the rope, push harder, watch the wave, bail the water." But thunder swallowed their words. Rain erased their confidence, and time stretched long into the night. Hour after hour, stroke after stroke, wave after wave. No answer, no rescue, only endurance. Sometimes the hardest part of the storm is not the noise, but the waiting, the wondering, the silence between prayers. Peter lifted his face into the rain. Cold drops ran down his skin. He breathed deeply. Then another wave crashed across the boat. They stumbled. They shouted. They held on. And somewhere in the darkness, hope felt very far away. Then suddenly, one of them froze. A trembling hand pointed into the distance. There, between the rising waves, was a figure, not drowning, not struggling, not drifting, walking, step by step, across the raging sea. The disciples recoiled in fear. Some covered their faces. Some cried out. Some believed it must be a spirit. But the figure kept coming closer, unafraid, steady, calm. The storm bent around him. The waves moved beneath him. Then through thunder came a voice, clearer than the wind, stronger than fear, gentler than rain. Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid. And the moment Peter heard that voice, something inside him became still. The storm outside remained, but another storm within him began to quiet, because peace does not always arrive by changing the weather. Sometimes peace arrives by revealing who stands beside you in it. the call beyond safety. The rain continued. The boat still rocked beneath tired feet. The wind still pushed against every side. Nothing outside had changed, and yet everything inside Peter was beginning to shift. Because once you hear peace speak, fear no longer sounds the same. Peter stared through the rain. The figure stood upon the sea, steady as stone, gentle as morning light, unmoved by chaos, unshaken by thunder. And Peter felt something awaken inside him. Not confidence in himself, but longing, a deep desire to be nearer to the one who brought calm into terror. The boat beneath him was familiar, but no longer comforting. It had walls, it had edges, it had wood to hold, yet it could not give peace. How often life feels like this. We cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer gives rest. We hold tightly to routines, old fears, small comforts, crowded thoughts, because stepping out feels dangerous, even when staying in place keeps us anxious. Peter raised his voice through the storm. Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. The others turned toward him in disbelief. Come to you on the water. Had fear stolen his reason? Had exhaustion clouded his mind? But Peter was not speaking from madness. He was speaking from hunger. The hunger to be close to peace. The hunger to move beyond fear. The hunger to trust more deeply than before. Then came the answer. Only one word. Come. No long explanation. No map. No guarantee of how each step would feel. Only invitation. Come. Sometimes the most life-changing moments arrive with one simple word. Forgive. Begin. Release. Stay. Trust. Come. Peter looked down. The edge of the boat glistened with rain. Dark water rose and fell below him. The wind pressed against his chest. His hands trembled. One foot stayed, planted on wood. One foot moved toward the unknown. There are moments like this in every life, when healing asks for courage, when growth asks for movement, when peace asks you to leave the place of constant fear, when faith asks for one small step, not 10, not the whole journey, just one. Peter inhaled slowly. Cold air filled his lungs. Rain touched his face. Thunder rolled across the sky. And with a shaking heart, he lifted his foot and stepped out. Pause here. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out gently. Sometimes your next chapter begins with one trembling step. Not because you feel ready, but because peace is calling. First steps upon the impossible. His foot touched the water, cold, moving, yet firm beneath him. Peter froze in wonder. He expected to sink. He expected the sea to swallow him whole. But instead, the surface held. He shifted his weight, then placed the second foot down. Now both feet stood upon the storm. The waves rolled beneath him, but did not claim him. Spray rose around him, but did not drown him. The darkness remained, but had lost its power. Peter took another step, then another, slowly, carefully, eyes fixed ahead. The impossible was happening, not because the sea had changed, but because his focus had changed. The storm still roared, yet it no longer ruled the moment. The rain still fell, yet it no longer defined reality. Because when attention settles on something greater than fear, fear begins to lose its throne. Peter walked, breathing with each movement. Inhale, step, exhale, step, inhale, trust, exhale, move. Rain became rhythm. Wind became background. The voice ahead became everything. There is a peace found only in focused trust, a peace the world cannot explain, a peace not built on perfect conditions, but on steady presence. Perhaps you know this too. Moments when trouble remained, yet somehow your heart stayed calm. Moments when nothing outside improved, yet strength quietly rose within you. Moments when you realized peace can exist in the middle of noise. Peter kept walking, every step rewriting what he thought was possible, every step healing old limits, every step declaring that fear does not always tell the truth. And for a sacred moment, he felt freer than ever before. No net beneath him, no certainty around him, no control in his hands. Yet freedom filled his chest, because sometimes freedom is not found in controlling life, but in trusting deeply within it. Pause here, breathe in slowly, breathe out softly. What if the storm is not your prison? What if it becomes your pathway? When eyes wander, then the wind shifted. A fierce gust struck his shoulders. A wave rose high beside him. Thunder cracked across the night. Peter blinked. His focus flickered. Just for a moment, he looked away from the one ahead and toward the chaos around him. He noticed the size of the waves. He noticed the depth below. He noticed the distance from the boat. He noticed how impossible this all seemed. And fear rushed back quickly. That is the way fear often returns. Not always through disaster, but through redirected attention. When we stare too long at what threatens us, we forget what was sustaining us. Peter's breathing tightened. His chest grew heavy. Thoughts raced through his mind. What am I doing? This cannot last. I should never have stepped out. The sea beneath him began to give way. His feet sank lower. Cold water wrapped around his ankles, then his knees, then his waist. Panic rose like fire through his body. How quickly the mind can fall when trust loosens. How suddenly old fear can return. Many know this sinking. When stress builds quietly, when sleep disappears, when anxiety grows louder each day, when one more problem feels like too much, when the water rises faster than strength, Peter cried out, "Lord, save me." Short prayer, raw prayer, honest prayer, enough prayer, and immediately a hand reached through rain and darkness. strong, certain, steady. It grasped Peter firmly and lifted him upward. No delay, no hesitation, no shame first, only rescue, only mercy, only presence. Peter coughed, held tightly, breathing hard, but peace was already returning, because the hand that holds you can calm you before circumstances do. Walking back through the storm, Peter clung tightly. Rain still fell across the dark waters. Wind still circled the boat. Thunder still murmured in the distance. The storm had not vanished, yet something had changed forever. He was no longer alone in it. The hand holding him was warm, steady, unshaken. Peter's breath came in trembling waves, slowly, then softer, then deeper. His racing heart began to settle, not because the sea was calm, but because the one beside him was. There is a peace the world often misunderstands. Many think peace means silence, easy days, no struggle, no tears, no uncertainty. But deeper peace can walk through thunder. Deeper peace can breathe beneath pressure. Deeper peace can stand steady while waves still rise. Peter looked down at the water. Moments ago, it felt like a grave. Now it felt like a road. The same sea, the same storm, the same night, yet completely different, because presence changes everything. What once looked like danger alone now became a pathway home. Together they turned toward the boat, step by step, not rushed, not frantic, not desperate, just steady. Peter walked beside the one who rescued him, no longer trying to prove anything, no longer trying to impress anyone, no longer driven by pride. Only gratitude remained. Sometimes failure empties us of what success never could. Sometimes sinking teaches what walking alone cannot. Sometimes rescue humbles us into real peace. The disciples watched in silence, rain dripping from their hair, hands frozen on ropes, eyes wide with wonder. They had seen fear become faith. They had seen panic become prayer. They had seen sinking become salvation. And now they watched two figures crossing the storm together. One learning, one leading, one trembling, one steady, one rescued, one rescuer. The boat drew near. Its wet wooden sides rose and fell with the tide. Hands reached out. Peter stepped inside, his legs weak, his chest full, his soul changed. Then it happened. The wind softened. The rain slowed. The sea settled. Clouds slowly parted overhead, and silver moonlight spilled across the water. Quiet returned, not all at once, but gently, like healing often does. Slowly, tenderly, faithfully. Notice this truth. Peace entered Peter before the weather changed. Stillness touched his heart before it touched the sea. That is often the greater miracle. Sometimes life outside remains rough for a while, but inwardly, something sacred becomes calm. Healing Sleep Reflections. Now, dear listener, perhaps you too have known storms. Storms no one else could fully see. Storms of thought, storms of worry, storms of waiting, storms of heartbreak, storms of exhaustion, storms of wondering how much longer you can keep rowing. If so, rest here for a moment. You do not need to row right now. You do not need to solve everything tonight. You do not need every answer before sleep comes. You do not need to carry tomorrow while still inside today. Breathe in slowly and breathe out gently. Again, breathe in peace. Breathe out pressure. Breathe in calm. Breathe out fear. Breathe in rest. Breathe out striving. Imagine now the moon above quiet waters. Imagine rain fading into mist. Imagine the waves settling one by one. Imagine your shoulders growing lighter. Imagine the thoughts in your mind becoming slower. Imagine the tight places within you softening. There may still be unanswered things. There may still be uncertain roads ahead. There may still be winds not yet gone. But tonight, you are held. Tonight, you are not alone on the water. Tonight, peace can reach you where you are, even in the middle of unfinished situations, even in the middle of long waiting seasons, even in the middle of nights that feel heavy. The hand that lifted Peter still symbolizes hope for every weary heart, not always removing the storm instantly, but never abandoning you inside it. Let that truth settle deeply. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not sinking beyond help. You are not too far out at sea. You are not beyond rescue. You are not carrying this night by yourself. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out softly. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders lower. Let your hands rest. Let the bed beneath you hold your weight. Let the night carry what you no longer need to grip. Gentle prayer for rest. May peace enter the room's worry has occupied. May calm settle where fear once shouted. May strength return to tired places. May hope rise quietly before morning. May healing touch hidden hurts. May courage awaken where doubt has lived. May sleep come softly. May your heart know safety. May your spirit know rest. May your mind know stillness. May you wake lighter than you lay down. The sea is calm now. Moonlight dances softly across the water. The boat moves gently. The storm is behind you. The night is kind again. Your breathing is slower now. Your thoughts are softer now. Your body is heavier with rest now. Nothing more is required of you in this moment. No proving, no pushing, no rowing, no striving. Only rest, only peace, only quiet trust. Breathe in and let go. Breathe out and release. Breathe in. You are held. Breathe out. You are safe. Breathe in. Peace within. Breathe out. Storm behind. Breathe in. Light above. Breathe out. Rest now. Rest now.